delivering mail on Dudley Street, not too far from Mall St. Vincent, when he was gunned down tragically. Police have arrested a suspect in the case. They've picked up Michael Gentry, and he's charged at this point with second-degree murder. And we're joined this morning by David Joseph, who's the U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Louisiana. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Aaron. Good morning, Robert.
How are you today? So
your office will prosecute this simply because he's a postal worker. Is that accurate?
Right. We have a federal statute that allows us to prosecute the assault or homicide of a postal worker. So we're able to handle this from the get-go.
The suspect, Mr. Gentry, has a long criminal history. I'm sure you've looked into it. And we spoke with one council member earlier who said there was a gun charge filed against him not too long ago. Or maybe it has been a few years, but that if it had been handled like you were handling other cases now in the federal system, he might not have even been on the streets. Should this guy have been among us, out there among us?
Well, clearly he should not have been among us because of what he did. I can't comment on his criminal history at this point. We have a pending investigation, and he'll at some point be entitled to a jury trial. So we don't want to prejudice that. I can tell you that this is exactly the type of person that we're targeting at the federal level with gun charges. We want to get them out of our neighborhoods, off the streets. This is just a senseless act of violence that we're all tired of, and we've had too much of in Shreveport.
Let me ask you this, David. Hope you don't mind me calling you David. I apologize.
Oh, no problem, Aaron.
There have been lots of myths about this case, that he had maced a dog. Perhaps he'd intervened because this man and his girlfriend were involved in a fight. What do you know about motive at this point, and if you can tell us anything?
I can't tell you much right now, Aaron, just because we're still trying to gather all the facts. I think we know the outline of what happened. But we're looking at all sorts of other kind of ancillary evidence to figure out what exactly went on that day. So I can't really comment beyond that.
We see in the case of cases that go into the district court, the slow process of justice. Will it be different in the federal system with this case?
We will, and Aaron, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to handle this case myself. So I can tell you right now, we're going to handle this as quickly as we can, and we're going to try to get this set for trial soon.
When you say that, you mean 12 months?
No, it'll be in the next 3 or 4 months. Depending on, there'll have to be an analysis of whether the facts of this case warrant a look at whether to seek the death penalty. That may slow it down some, but we're going to move forward as fast as we can with this case.
Do you anticipate charges will remain at second-degree murder, or is that sort of, as we've talked to people in the DA's office here at various times, that's just sort of the go-to until you look at things and then maybe they change down the line to first degree? Do you have any idea?
Right. So first-degree murder has to have an aggravating factor under state law, and that's what the state has arrested him with, and the charges they have pending right now. We haven't made a charging decision at the federal level yet.
At what point do you get notified of a case like this? I'm just curious.
I was involved from the beginning on Saturday when we got word that this happened, and I contacted the FBI supervisor in Shreveport, asked him to assist the postal inspector and the Shreveport Police Department with investigating the case. I asked all of our federal partners to provide whatever assistance they could to local law enforcement in investigating this. This hits close to home. This is a mailman doing his job, delivering the mail, and he gets murdered in cold blood.
You had made the point a couple of seconds ago, and I'll be a little more generic, that there's a lot of bad people out there that ought to be in jail. Is that the case because at the state level, because you had said there had been the possibility of federal charges earlier, this is going back to 2011, by the way, that the state or at the local level, at the more local level, they're looking to make a deal because things are just so backed up, overloaded, and the case for for the pro bono, the indigent defender office is underfunded, et cetera. Is that the situation?
I can't really speak to what's happening at the state level. I know that they're trying as hard as they can, and they've been a good partner for us. But I can tell you we are at the federal level moving forward at our capacity with prosecuting as many violent offenders as we can under the Project Safe Neighborhoods initiative that we talked about previously. So, there is a lot of people out there that don't need to be in our community. So, we're trying to address that. And the causes of that, as we've talked about before, I'm not sure we know, but clearly something's not right.
I'm looking at his rap sheet that was sent to me this morning, and I know you've seen it. I know you can't talk about it. It is 2 full pages, it looks like, over and over again. Some of them are minor offenses, no seatbelt and that kind of thing. But I just think it's frustrating to me, and I know it probably is to you too. And I can't imagine how the family's feeling today.
Right. Nothing will make this okay for them, and frankly, nothing will make it okay for us either. This is not okay.
So what's the next move? How long till arraignment? And Aaron sort of alluded to that earlier, but to get things in the pipeline, so to speak, what kind of time frame are we looking at?
Well, we're going to, as soon as the investigation's complete and we feel like we know enough to determine what kind of homicide charge to bring, I'll present to the federal grand jury, and we'll go from there. We'll be set for trial.
And he's held at Caddo Correctional. Do U.S. Marshals have control over him? Is he handled differently because it's a federal crime?
Right. We haven't charged him yet. So right now he's in state custody, and the state has charges on him. Okay. We don't kind of charge somebody until we know all the facts. So we tend to be a little bit slower in charging a case, but a little bit faster in trying and resolving a case. So that's kind of how we operate at the federal level.
David,
if he does look like he's going to get out of state custody, we'll go ahead and we'll likely go ahead and charge at the federal level. Gotcha.
David Joseph, U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Louisiana. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you too, Aaron. Mm-hmm.